This video is about Rust Legacy, a video game that was available from Christmas time 2013 to Christmas time 2016 through Steam, its distributor, and from the developer FacePunch. This specific video will be about rustlegacy.org, a project that started a month or so ago and seems to have died. Let's get to what this video's first thing is about. I've been waiting to do this because I wanted to see what the longevity of it would be, but this will be about downloading and using, and what my impressions are, for the server files. If you're not aware of it, Rust Legacy comes in two specific file types. A server file set that works out to about 1 gigabyte when you expand it, and a game that takes up 0.9 gigabytes approximately. And yes, there's a way of combining them together, and I'm working on it. But anyway, the Rust Legacy Server 2015 files are named Rust Legacy Server 2015.rar that I'm discussing. And they take up, as a RAR file, a file that is 424.41 megabytes, which works out to 445 megabytes in bytes rather than megabytes, which is a different number, and I'm not going to go into it. This was uploaded from Canada to a linkable location at mediafire.com/file/string of numbers and letters Rust Legacy Server 2015.rar. About as straightforward a name as you can give it. This was originally linked through rustlegacy.org/create-server, and right on one side of the screen. On the other side, it had the 2013 link where you could click it and it didn't do anything because it hadn't been included. This was also the same site you could download the game from, which had a different name. I've done 3 other videos about it, linked below in the description if you want to look at any of them for reference, so I won't be covering anything from them. What is in the file set? Well, the upload happened from Canada to Mediafire on March 21st, 2026 at 1800 hours, 32 minutes, and 50 seconds GMT, I'm assuming. It contains a 2015 May 5th copy of Rust Legacy Server, as far as I can tell. All indications point to that exactly. And if it's a RAR file, and if everybody handled everything correctly, the files retain the time and date stamps from when they were last downloaded or built. It also includes a last runtime of 2026, March 13th, when it was calling itself, in the experimental test to make sure it worked, as Rust Legacy Extended Non-Modded. And there's a file called Rust Legacy Extended SQL, a SQL server file, in the file set. But that doesn't seem to affect its behavior. And it is non-modded. This is absolutely straight, bare bones copy of the game. Server. And it was last run by somebody who identified in the file set as danko. It also includes a subdirectory listed as Administrator Panel that is a renamed copy, very renamed copy, of a program called Rusty, version 1, from 2014, October 17th. That's all there is to it. It's literally just a straight copy of the game. It actually works, the server. It actually works. I tested it, runs fine. Doesn't do anything new or special. It's missing a lot of things you might expect from a server where you can type out a command to get a kit or whatever, but it's workable. Links below that include my video will also include a video from the first video I saw on it, which I'll link, that ends in CAK, and a YouTube channel unrelated to the video called Rust Legacy Org. That's the name for the YouTube channel. It only has one video on it. And that's literally all of it at 4 minutes and 11 seconds for the Rust Legacy Server 2015 files. If you're not aware of it, even today, technically, although nobody's done the test, you should be able to use Steam, even if you have to use Windows 11, to tell it in a command line utility called, oddly enough, Steam CMD or Steam Command, to download the server and client files that are the latest copies that were up in 2016. And nobody's done that. They haven't downloaded them and just posted them again, for whatever reason. Now let's move on. And yes, you could, in 2016 at least, download them, and it didn't care if you bought them, because in order to make them work at the time, you had to have Steam authenticate. But now that Steam won't even run it, or you can't download it and pay for it, so you can't authenticate it, you can just download the files. They just assume you're doing it to repair and install. The website, rustlegacy.org/create-server is where we download it, and that's where the links are. It's a blank page. There's no way to get to it now. Before that, at rustlegacy.org/download-rust-legacy for the game, and those are archived below, they included at first, currently they include mega.nz, mediafire, file.kiwi, and gofile.io, or they would if they were visible. The server's down. And originally, it only linked to a page. There were two different ones, one older and one newer, both of which at one point linked to a website that would give you the runaround, try to get you tricked into clicking a link, try to install malware at one point, and would crash, and then eventually just started demanding money to download this file set. And I made a video about it, one of the three I have down, linked below. So they added in mega.nz and mediafire, totally not because I pointed out that that's what they should have done in the first place. Also, they did the same thing for the server files, so that's one of the reasons I decided I wasn't going to do a review. I've already done all the installs and tests, but I didn't want to post a review until today. In fact, I'm making the video right before I post it. And this website, rustlegacy.org, was incredibly aggressive about not letting archive.org back up copies of rustlegacy.org. I had to use Archive Today to do it. And even then it would fight, and still does. Even though it's archiving an archive that did work, it still fights. It still contains code that's aggressive. This has been a very suspicious project. Sorry, cannot resolve server, client, or website and host for rustlegacy.org because it appears after a month or so the project is kaput. Or it'll come back. It has a YouTube channel for it that seems to be dedicated to it. Also has other videos that seem to be 10 years old because people added in rustlegacy.org to their titles recently to kind of help the project. But those videos from 10 years ago have nothing to do with it. So, what's the takeaway from this video? Yet another project that said it was going to try to resurrect a really cool old game, Stop Killing Game style, that it did provide some more links to some more copies of stuff that you can get, and I have several videos where I tell you the latest rundown on all the server or client copies you can get. But did it add anything to it? It had a SQL Server file. There was something going on to make it do more, but it doesn't. I'm not seeing anything added to it. And other projects had the same sort of thing. They'd run for a while. People had some really cool ideas. Some of them, a lot of them actually, would produce really, really cool add-ons and do videos about it. And then when you'd ask to download it so that it wouldn't disappear, about that time they would quit and all the files would disappear. I understand someone putting a lot of work and effort and getting a little insulted when someone wants the free ride version, but the whole point of doing this, when I do an add-on or an alteration where I post a video explaining it, I post copies of the files, because I don't want my progress to be lost because I screwed up or got my page taken down or YouTube flagged it or the server went blank. The server was paid up for a year, at least as far as I know. That's what I was told. About one other thing. Because it contains a copy of Rusty, a little bit of a criticism again. I did a video criticizing Rusty for having the software having a set of buttons that would basically crash the damn thing. Unnecessarily. There's no reason for it to being there. That doesn't have an explanation. And also another piece of software like it called rustadmin, I think it was just called rustadmin, that had buttons that, or behaviors that would put up pop-ups that were unnecessary. And the response was, I did that when I was developing software. Yes, all of us do that. We put in dialogues. I put in echo screens so it stops the proceedings so I can see what's going on, so I make sure it's working. But I remove them when I publish them. It's a good criticism to explain that you have to do that. But in this case, digging into the code on Rusty, because I felt like doing it because I had a second copy, might as well dig it open. I found that the only purpose those buttons seem to have is to put up the error message and crash it, because they don't seem to have anything else in them that was supposed to work. Just saying. And again, these products for Rust Legacy, the Rusty and the other one called rustadmin or whatever, They were also made to be cross-compatible with the new copies of Rust, the procedurally generated ones that are really good. These are abandoned projects, just like the game from 2013 through 2016. And every time anybody talks about expanding or correcting or fixing it, the projects go away. Like Crimson Rust, the entire project seemed to fold in on itself because they updated things. That word update, why the hell do you keep using it? I don't think it means what you think it means. And then suddenly nobody was going to the server because they were excluding everybody who downloaded the original copy. And then it stopped working entirely. Or was that the other one that was another project that was... Listen, please. Stop sabotaging your products at all. If they worked on Windows 7, which is what I'm running, let them keep working that way. If you can't make them work that way, then just make another project. Don't make it to where you take everybody who actually is going onto your project and slap them upside the head. Don't do that. And on this one, the only advice I give for the people who do things is learn from rustlegacy.org. Don't make it to where some of your downloads effectively try to break people's computers, hack them, trick them, pop up them to death, harass and nag them, or demand money. And again, if you're going to do a project like this, release the source code. Release your files immediately after you finish getting it to a certain point so that people can download it, so that not if, when all the files go kablooey, we have backup copies and can continue the project. This game would have been, it was never finished. It would have been finished probably in 2016 if people released their source code and made it work. The only project that seemed to do that, as the last time I checked, was Fogelrite.com or whatever, Fogelrite, the Fogelrite project. Go look it up. I'm going to look it up today and see if it's gone now. It's been running for a very long time, and it has hiccups. And when I point it out, they let me in and let me archive everything. I downloaded as much as I could get away with before it gave me a limit on how much I could download. If nobody's going to your project for over a year and you put a bandwidth limit on one person trying to make a backup copy of your website, I don't think you understand what a backup of your website really is at this point. But thank you to Raytax and all the others. I do appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. I would also appreciate it if people would decide that since this keeps happening, act like it's going to keep happening, and make sure that everything is posted in such a way that it's easily archived, easily backed up, and impossible to erase by accident or any other behavior. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. I wish you all luck with that. This has been WAPTech. Good day.